Hey guys, what's up? OTAKU Mike here, doing another manga review. And today we are looking at a Yuri title. It's a one-shot anthology series called Eve and Eve. Um, it's a pretty interesting book. So our story starts out with a post-apocalyptic, where basically this comet comes down, and everybody who sees this comet hit the ground basically gets blinded, and then this like AI unit releases like a virus, and it affects like everybody within like the world, basically kills most of the population, and then aliens show up, and they're like, oh, we're not gonna take over this world basically because um it's already shit, so we're leaving and see you guys later. So it basically turns in. After that, we meet two girls. One is Japanese and one is Russian, and they're basically living their life trying to survive. And they kind of feel like they have a connection to each other. They've had intercourse or sex several times, and they're very like interested in seeing like what exactly love is and whatnot. And can we procreate, which was pretty interesting. And they find like this capsule that allows them to like have children, and which is pretty interesting. The whole having children with two women aspect of the first short story, because it is a short story series. There's six short stories, and then at the end of that, you see them and they have children, which is pretty adorable. The first book, or the first not book, the first um, short story is very heavily sexualized. Um, they don't have when they draw the sex. There's no like genitalia, so it's a little weird. It's like looking at a Barbie almost, I would say, um, which is pretty interesting. I mean, this is the first like adult Yuri title that I've read, and then it gets into other like it like travels back in time, and you see stories that happened before the apocalypse. This is really interesting. One of my favorites was it's called the what was it called? It was called the Top and Bottom Showdown. Where it's like this group of high school girls, and they're trying to figure out who would be top and who would be bottom within their um, friend demographic or friend group, which is pretty. It was pretty hilarious seeing like their reasonings on why they would be top or they would be bottom. That one wasn't really sexualized. Then they go into one later on where it's one about a girl and her robot, and that one was not bad. And there was one where it was like this girl was like cursed, and she was kind of like a spider person or whatever. That one was kind of actually that one was kind of out there, honestly. Um, but here, I'll show you guys some of the artwork. Let's see. Like, here's some of the artwork. This is what some of the artwork looks like from the first chapter. But one of my favorites actually was it was called Eternity. What was it? Eternity 1 and Eternity 2, which was really interesting. These women sign up for this project where their brains get uploaded into satellites because they want their love to be eternal. And basically they monitor the planet basically before, I think it was before the apocalypse happens, which was really interesting. And it dealt with like, is love eternal? Like, it got really really deep, and I've actually really enjoyed that one. That one was really interesting, and honestly kind of a little bit heartbreaking because they're basically in in these giant satellites, and it goes into some very interesting topics. And once you read all those stories, it's kind of it seems unconnected at first, but then everything gets wrapped up in the epilogue with our first two main characters, which is really interesting. It's happened. They showed them before the first chapter, which is, and it was I was curious to see why and how it would end up wrapping up, like because I didn't really see how these they didn't seem like these stories were connected at first, which I actually really enjoyed this title. It was surprisingly good, and it was just done by one author, Nagashiro Rogue. Uh, I really enjoyed it, and one thing I liked about it in the back part of it, where is it? Let's see. She gives you like where they were published and when they were published, the short stories, and she gives you a little an explanation on how she came up with the idea, and stuff like that. So if you're looking for a more adult Yuri title, and you don't want a long investment, this book is actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were some really interesting stories, but yeah, if you're not into the more adult aspect of Yuri, this might not be for you. Just saying, yeah, it might not be for you because they go to some places. Just saying, and it's very interesting aspects of how like humans will act in the apocalypse and stuff like that, and how their relationships basically flourish, which I really really enjoyed. And if anything else comes out for this author, I'm down. Like I thoroughly enjoyed this, but I can understand why people wouldn't enjoy it because there is a lot of adult themes in this book. So it's not for everybody, and it's not for anybody who's under 18. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, comment down below if you've read this. Let me know. And let me know your thoughts on it, or thoughts on the Yuri genre in general. And what Yuri titles should I check out? Because I'm very interested in checking out more Yuri titles. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm Otaku Mike, and comment down below if you're new to the channel. Consider subscribing; it always helps. And thanks for watching, guys. Go check out Eve and Eve. It's not a bad read. See ya.